I'm going to show you exactly how to optimize a web page for Google search in less than 10 minutes. I've been doing SEO for over 15 years now. Optimizing a web page is much easier than a lot of SEOs want you to think. Now, if you have the budget, I do think it makes sense to hire an SEO. However, if you want to do this yourself, I'm going to show you how you can get 90% of the results with only 10% of the effort. And it all comes down to 3 simple steps. We're going to need a few things before we get started: a page, and a term we're trying to rank for. So I found a website we can use as an example. Green Valley Window Tint here provides a great service. They have beautiful pages with lots of content, but they're not optimized. And so even though they're one of the most trusted brands in Las Vegas and they have a great website, if you Google Window Tint Las Vegas, you will see an ad for Green Valley Window Tint. They're paying to be there. But if you scroll down, you will not see them on page 1 of Google, meaning they've done the hard part. But without following these 3 steps, Google just doesn't have the confidence to show them on page 1. So let's go ahead and pick a page. If you're a small service business, your most important pages are going to be your homepage and your service pages. For this example, let's go ahead and use their automotive window tinting page. Next, we need to decide what term we're trying to rank for. Now, you can spend hours doing keyword research with expensive tools, and if you have the time and budget, sure, you might want to do that. However, the best tool for keyword research is completely free and it only takes about 30 seconds, and that's Google search. All you're going to do is think, what would I type into Google if I was looking for a page like this? Now, if I'm in the automotive tint industry, I'm probably going to type something like automotive window film, because that's what I call it. Once you see the search results, ask the question, are these pages similar to the one I'm trying to rank in Google? As you can probably see here, what Google is showing us for this term is wholesale window film. And that's because when someone's looking for a company to install window tint on their car, they don't type automotive window film. So if you aren't seeing pages like yours, try a new term. Let's go with car window tint. Now we're getting a mix of shopping results and window tinting shops. So we're definitely getting closer. How about car window tint near me? And there we go. Now we really are just getting window tinting shops and a lot of pages like the one we're trying to rank. Adding modifiers like that can really help clarify your search intent. You could also try something like car window tint Dallas, just any city. Now that we're seeing pages like the one we're trying to rank, we're just going to look through the top 10 or so pages and take a note of their title tag. And when I say title tag, I mean this title right here. And we're going to ignore pages that are not like ours, like Reddit, or ads that'll say sponsored above them. So here are the top 10 titles. We're just going to look through them and see what they have in common. You can see 9 out of 10 of them have window tint in the title, and 8 out of 10 have Dallas in the title. I just happen to know from working with about 100 of these shops, most people usually don't include car in the search, but it's a short word, we might as well include it. So now we know the term we're trying to rank for is going to be car window tinting. And then for a local business, you want to include the greatest area that you can actually competitively rank in. This is where an SEO can help, but for now, just use your best judgment. If the competitors in your greater area are much bigger than you, choose a smaller area. For example, Green Valley Window Tint might just include Green Valley. However, their competitors aren't any bigger than them, so they should go ahead and go for Las Vegas. So with a page and keyword identified, it's time for step 1, and that is get your keyword in the title of the page. There are actually 2 places you need to update your title. One is called your meta title. This one is invisible on the page, but it's what Google sees, and it's also what shows up in the tab here at the top. As you can see, they've already put automotive window tinting in their title tag. That's close, but we know people use the term car, so we'd want to swap out automotive for car. And the second and more important place to put your title is in what's called the H1. Don't worry about understanding what an H1 is. With most website builders, your title is automatically going to show up at the top of the page. This is the first place Google's going to look when trying to understand what the page is about. For this page, the closest thing to a title is get a quote today. So that's not helping Google understand what they should rank this page for. Merely adding a title above this section with the term car window tinting would do wonders. Now that we've made it clear what the page is about, as we scroll down the page, what matters is that each section has a clear title that describes the content in that section. Now, I'm not saying you should shove keywords into every heading on the page. That rarely helps. I actually think this title right here does clearly explain what it is. They could call this section Window Tinting Reviews, but the thing is, this page will never rank for window tinting reviews. If we Google Window Tint Reviews Las Vegas, after the sponsored results, we can see it's Yelp, Reddit, Threads, Quora, because when someone's looking for reviews, they're not looking for reviews from a single business, they're looking for a list of businesses. So that's important to keep in mind. Don't try to rank for a term that Google is never going to show your page for. The goal, as we're going through our section titles, is not to add keywords. It's just to make sure it's clear what content is on the page. When Google's choosing which page to show in their search results, they're going to look at all their options and then decide which one addresses the intent of the searcher most. So when someone's looking for a shop to install window tint, what do they hope to see on the page? Yes, they definitely want to see reviews. You should always put those on the page if you have them. But they also want to see their options and pricing. Now this page from Green Valley Window Tint looks great, and I wouldn't remove anything, but adding those sections would help a lot. Now outlining and building web pages is way beyond the scope of this video. I just wanted to reiterate the point that optimization alone is not enough to help you to rank. You need to be creating useful web pages that are easy to use. When we're talking about optimization, we're talking about things we do specifically for Google. Once you have that beautiful, useful web page, optimization consists of updating the title and making sure each section's title clearly defines what's in that section. Taking this title here, for example, it's actually unclear to me what this section is about. In fact, all three of these rows just seem to be sales copy, saying the same thing in different words. To make it clear to both Google and visitors, it would be better if you had a section about privacy, a section about heat rejection, and then of course those sections about pricing and options. You want to make sure someone can easily look through your page and understand what each section is about merely by reading the section titles. One little bonus tip here for local businesses. This goes beyond basic optimization, but adding an areas we serve row and listing all the towns and neighborhoods within your greater area can do wonders when people are searching from or about those areas. And then you can take that to the next level by building a page for each of those areas. I'll have another video talking about that, so please like and subscribe if you want to see that. And the final step for optimizing a web page is what we call internal linking. In short, anytime another page on your website mentions the topic of this page, we want to add a link from those words to this page. So in this case, anytime another page is talking about car window tinting, it should link to this page. However, we only need to add one link per page. Now there are a lot of expensive tools and fancy processes for doing this, but I'm going to show you the way to get 90% of the benefit with 10% of the effort. Again, we're using our favorite free tool, Google Search. We're going to type site : paste the domain in there, and then in quotes, we're going to type the keyword we're trying to rank for, or maybe the shortest version of it, which in this case would be window tint. Google now shows us every page on the website that includes the term window tint. We can now go through each of these and make sure there's one link from the page to the page we're trying to optimize. So here we have a blog post. Let's just search for the term window tint. We're not going to link from the title. We'll go down into the content. And hey, Green Valley's already doing a great job, although they're linking to a different page. It looks like it was linked to an old version of this page, which then redirects, which is fine, but it would be better if it linked directly to this page. It would also be better if their blog post was more than 100 words long, but I'll save that for another video. You then just continue going through every page that mentions some variation of the keyword you're trying to rank for and add a link from each. Now, if this is one of your most important pages, like a core service page, you also want to make sure it's linked from the main navigation bar, as they've done, as well as on the homepage itself, which they have also done. However, you can see here the link comes from the words read more. It would be better if the link came from the words car window tint, because that's what sends the signal to Google that this is the most relevant page for the term car window tint. By the way, if you would like me to do a full audit of your website and you don't mind me making a YouTube video out of it, just visit the link below. I'll do it. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I'll have more coming soon.